Welcome to Critique My Query. I'm Marla Miller from marlamiller.com, and I'm going to critique your query. For those of you interested in submitting query letters, all you have to do is email me and cut and paste your query letter, because I don't open files, and my email is below. What we do here is post the letter, and then I read it, and then I offer what I call at marlamiller.com a quick query critique. For those of you interested, I've got about 90 quick query critiques on marlamiller.com, and I'm told by many writers that they're quite educational and tutorial, so you might want to hang out over there as well sometime. What I'm trying to do is offer query letters that have some pizzazz in them, that are not so first drafty, that the errors are obvious. So I'm listening for speed bumps that pull me out of the letter or keep me from really going into what the essence of the query letter is trying to tell, which is some kind of taste of this story that makes an agent or an editor say, I gotta have more. So that's really what a query letter has to do. Okay, so this one is literary fiction, and it doesn't really matter what genre it is, because a query letter needs to hook regardless of genre. But I get a lot of YA and I get a lot of memoir, and if you'll notice on this site, there's a lot of YA and memoir here. Again, if you're writing in a genre other than YA, or you're writing creative nonfiction, you can still learn from listening to critiques about any genre, but I like to mix it up. And so this is literary fiction, and I looked on the site and we haven't had one of these for a while, so here I go. Dear blank, how do you heal when more than your heart is broken? The answer to this question makes An Everlasting Love a different kind of love story. Taylor Baxter is youngest of four to a single mother, and understanding of love between a man and a woman was distorted and dysfunctional at best. Looking for love was like looking for a peach tree when you've never seen a peach. Relationships are complicated for most of us, but mix in a gaping wound caused by the rejection of one man designed to love you, sexual abuse from a man paid to care for you, and self-image a little higher than Quasimodo, and you have the perfect recipe for disaster. In her own Vice, Taylor takes us on an intimate journey from a complicated adolescence to womanhood and self-awareness, pointing out the hard lessons she learned and hoping to impact a little wisdom along the way. In her search for what she thought was unconditional love and acceptance, she found something much greater than the poor brown-skinned girl from West Lincoln Street could have ever imagined. Taylor Baxter is a hard-hearted, hard-headed urban kid whose personal mantra is, I trust no one, including myself. Taylor has been crippled by her fear of rejection and protects herself by living within a set of strict self-imposed boundaries. The problem is the men who desire to be part of her life keep crossing the lines. There is John, a childhood crush Taylor works to hate. Travis, her best friend who cares for her but has an ulterior motive. Carlos, a peculiar and slightly older man whose life is an irresistible mystery. Then there is the fourth man, ... An Everlasting Love is a work of literary fiction about the trials and errors experienced by Taylor Baxter, a young African-American girl, as she overcomes her past and outgrows her hurts to encounter a love that truly heals. Now, a little about the author. My name is Blank, and this is my first book. I have been published in Chicken Soup series, Chicken Soup for the African-American Woman's Soul. I have a degree in English literature and music minor. I also have several unpublished short stories, plays, and skits. Writing is not my passion, but rather my purpose. My hope is that this book will formally launch my career as a serious writer. I chose An Everlasting Love as my first book because although it's fiction, Taylor's clumsy and at times comical story is close to my heart. I feel like there is someone else out there who needs to learn how to let go of fear long enough to live. And I sincerely, okay. So what do I think of An Everlasting Love? I'm just checking on time. Okay. Well, I certainly think that this writer can write, so I have no problem with that. But a couple of things that I want to touch upon. This was one of those letters that I read it the first time, and then I read it again before I set this up to video, and I found myself editing it. I couldn't help it. I grabbed my pen and did a couple of edits. Um, in the second paragraph, in her own voice, it says vice, but it should be voice. So we want to watch copy edit issues when you're submitting a query letter, either to me or to anyone for review. Make sure that you've got your I's dotted and your T's crossed and all of your spelling correct. So that's no biggie. However, I think that her second paragraph probably would be better served as a summary paragraph, because it really does sound like that's what she's done, is summarize this story. I also think that the fourth paragraph, An Everlasting Love, is a work of literary fiction um, about Taylor Baxter. I would get rid of about the trials and errors experienced by. I just don't think you need it. A young African-American girl, she overcomes her past and outgrows her hurts to encounter a love that truly heals. That really sets up the whole scene, doesn't it? And so I would encourage this author to consider bumping that up to the top and opening the query letter with that. And so if she opens the query letter with that, then she has to take a look at the first sentence that she currently has opening this query letter. I don't think that's needed. I think that that fourth paragraph really sets this up very nicely. I also think that there's some redundancy here, and again, I'm not going to do that here for readers, but I want all of you to look at this and look for redundant sentences that pretty much say the same thing, just maybe in a little different way, maybe with a few more adjectives, maybe with a little different slant. And then what I like to tell people is highlight the ones that all sound similar, and then from those highlighted sentences, pick out the best. And then continue recrafting your query letter based on the very, very, very best sentence. Because she has several here that are really just variations of each other. So I would encourage her to take a look at that. I think that this letter needs a significant amount of editing. The good news is that, I think that this is a story that absolutely may attract the attention of an editor or an agent. I would like her to also, if this story has any humorous elements in it, as she says it does, you might want to show us, don't tell us that. So I think that while there are lots of ingredients here that are working, there's too much. And so what happens? In writing the formula that I'm sure you've all heard in workshops or read, 1 + 1 = 1/2, applies here. So you want to get out all the extraneous stuff that just repeats what she's trying to say, so that what she's trying to say really pops off the page. Let's see if there's anything else that I want to offer. No, I think that that's it. I hope that this is helpful. Until the next time, be well, keep writing, and remember, submit your query letters below my email.